This is News Hour on Ifako Radio. Good morning, I'm Olanireti, Ololade. The major headlines. Electoral Act 2026. Tinubu defends assent. Opposition raises L. ICPC grills El-Rufai after EFCC release. FGC Plateau mine after gas leak kills 37. FCT poll. 3,345 beavers deployed. Movement restricted. Jigawa, Lagos, Sokoto lead as INEC reports 1.2 million new voters registrations. Nigerians World Bank IDA debt hits $18.7 billion. Sports. Football stars rally behind Vinicius, condemn racism. Entertainment. Thames, Burna Boy, break record for most Billboard Hot 100 entries by African artists. Sime condemns sexual assault, urges men to hold peers accountable. News in detail. Electoral Act 2026. Tinubu defends assent. Opposition raises L. Opposition parties and civil society organizations have condemned President Bola Tinubu's assent to the Electoral Act 2026, describing the move as a setback to Nigeria's democratic progress and the legislation of electoral manipulation ahead of 2027 general elections. The People's Democratic Party on Wednesday alleged that the ruling All Progressive Congress' fear of losing the upcoming elections drove what is called the rushed approval of the contentious legislation, which the party described as a threat to the country's democratic process. President Tinubu signed the Electoral Act 2026 into law around 5 p.m. on Wednesday at the Aso Rock Presidential Villa, Abuja, with senior National Assembly officials in attendance. It came barely 24 hours after the bill was passed by both chambers of the National Assembly. During the ceremony, Tinubu raised concerns about Nigeria's current broadband infrastructure and technical capacity to handle real-time electronic transmission of election results. Even as he signed the Electoral Act 2026 into law, but in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Imi Ememobong, the PDP called the development a dark day for democracy. ICPC grills. ICPC grills El-Rufai after EFCC release. The former governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, was on Wednesday released by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. He was, however, reportedly taken into custody by the operatives of the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission and other related offences commission. Sources at the EFCC confirmed on Wednesday night that the former governor had been released but was shortly taken into custody by operatives of the ICPC. El-Rufai had arrived at EFCC headquarters in Abuja around 10 a.m. on Monday for questioning and was held by the commission until Wednesday. We have released him today, but was shortly picked up after he was released by ICPC, a source said. Efforts to obtain official confirmation from the ICPC failed as calls to the spokesman John Ode were not answered. El-Rufai's lawyer, A.U. Mustafa, neither confirmed nor denied the claim when contacted. FGC's Plateau mine after gas leak kills 37. The federal government has ordered the immediate closure of the mining site in Plateau State after about 37 villagers reportedly died from inhaling salty gases during artisanal mining activities. It was gathered from a post by security analyst Zagazula Makama on X on Wednesday. The 25 other persons were hospitalized after exposure to suspected carbon monoxide at the mining site in Zurak, located in Washe local government area. According to the reports, the victims, mostly young men aged between 20 and 35, were carrying out routine underground mining operations when they inhaled toxic gases believed to have accumulated in poorly ventilated tunnels. Following the incident, the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, directed that all activities within mining license 11810, operated by Solid Units Nigeria Limited, be suspended after the tragedy in the Zura community of Washe local government area. The license owned by Abdullah Dan China lies between longitudes 10.34.45 and 10.35.50, and latitudes 9.13.45 and 9.14.40. The minister gave the directive in a statement issued on Wednesday by the Special Assistant on Media to the Minister, Shegun Tomori, in Abuja. FCT poll 3,345 beavers deployed, movement restricted. The Independent National Electoral Commission has said the bimodal voters accreditation systems will be deployed in all polling units for the Federal Capital Territory Area Council election, while results will be uploaded to the result viewing portal to enhance transparency. This was disclosed by the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amokunto, at the high-level stakeholders forum on Wednesday. At the stakeholders forum, Amokunto outlined the Commission's preparations for the polls and reaffirmed its commitment to a peaceful, transparent, and credible process. It specifically noted that the operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission would be on the ground to deter vote trading and other electoral offences. Any individual found buying or selling votes will be apprehended and dealt with in accordance with the law, Amokunto said. He added that 1,132 vehicles, 620 motorcycles, and 14 boats would be deployed to facilitate the movement of personnel and materials, stressing that there must be no logistical lapses on election day. Amokunto noted that INEC remains neutral in the contest. Jigawa, Lagos, Sokoto, lead as INEC reports 1.2 million new voters registration. The Independent National Electoral Commission has reported the surge in voter registrations during the ongoing continuous voter registration exercise, with over 1.2 million Nigerians completing the process in the second phase as of February 13, 2026. According to an official update released by INEC via its X handle on Thursday, a total of 1,228,748 eligible citizens have fully completed registration under Phase 2, Week 6. This marks an increase from the 884,737 recorded at the end of Week 5. The breakdown shows that 673,124 individuals began with online pre-registration, while 455,524 completed the process physically at designated centers. By state, the data shows that Jigawa has the highest number of registered voters with a total of 98,698, representing 8.03%. This is followed by Lagos State and Kano with 84,307 and 77,004 and 71,990 registrants, respectively. By gender, INEC stated female 696,891, which accounts for 57%, male 531,755, which accounts for 43%. Age group, youth 18 to 34, it's 848%, 066, which accounts for 69%. Excuse me. Persons with disabilities, 19,414 registrants nationwide. Unpaid electricity bills now 6 trillion naira. Gen codes. Power generation companies under the umbrella of the Association of Power Generation Companies have disclosed that outstanding unpaid invoices for electricity generated and supplied to the national grid have surged to about 6 trillion naira, raising fresh concerns about the sustainability of power supply in Nigeria. The group said the growing debt burden driven by revenue shortfalls and weak remittances across the electricity value chain has significantly strained the financial capacity of generation companies to invest in maintenance, poor procurement, and expansion. The power generation companies also strongly rejected allegations by the Nigerian Labour Congress that electricity firms were engaged in institutionalized extortion, insisting that the claims represent the deep rooted Apology for the break in transmission. Apology for the break in transmission. Unpaid electricity bills now 6 trillion naira, Gencos. Power generation companies under the umbrella of the Association of Power Generation Companies have disclosed that outstanding unpaid invoices for electricity generated and supplied to the national grid have surged to about 6 trillion naira, raising fresh concerns about the sustainability of power supply in Nigeria. The group said the growing debt burden driven by revenue shortfalls and weak remittances across the electricity value chain has significantly strained the financial capacity of generation companies to invest in maintenance, for procurement, and expansion. The power generation companies also strongly rejected allegations at the Nigerian Labour Congress that electricity firms were engaged in institutionalized extortion, insisting that the claims misrepresent interpreted liquidity crisis threatening the country's power supply. The chief executive officer of the association, Joy Ogaji, made the announcement in a statement on Wednesday in reaction to recent comments by the Nigerian Labour Congress. Ogaji accused Labour of peddling a simplistic and inflammatory narrative that ignored the structural challenges facing the industry. She said, while we acknowledge the frustrations of Nigerians regarding the unstable power supply, we must firmly reject the NLC's characterization of the sector's challenges to label the legitimate operations of power firms as robbery and a grand deception is a misrepresentation of the facts and a disservice to the ongoing efforts to stabilize Nigeria's electricity supply industry. Nigeria's World Bank IDA debt is $18.7 billion. Nigeria's debt to the World Bank's concessional leading arm, the International Development Association, surged by $1.9 billion in just 1 year to reach $18.7 billion as of December 31st, 2025. New financial letter released by the institution show, according to the IDA Management Discussion and Analysis for the period ended December 31, 2025, Nigeria's exposure to the bank's loan portfolio rose significantly from $16.8 billion at the end of 2024, marking an 11.3% year-on-year increase. The share price shows growing reliance on multilateral concessional financing as the federal government navigates tightening fiscal shape amid global market volatility. The latest figures places Nigeria as the third largest borrower in the IDA portfolio, behind Bangladesh and Pakistan, among the top 10 countries with the highest exposures. Together, these 10 countries accounted for 60% of IDA's total exposure as of December 31st, 2025, the report said. A year earlier, the same cohort accounted for 61% of total exposure. Sports. Football stars rally behind Vinicius, condemn racism. Ex-players and current stars have voiced their support for Vinicius Jr. following an alleged racist incident during Real Madrid's 1-0 Champions League victory over Benfica. The Brazilian scored the only goal of the first leg match, but the aftermatch was overshadowed by claims that Benfica's Gianluca Cristiana directed racist abuse at him. Vinicius took to social media to speak out, writing, "Racists are above all cowards. They need to put their shells in their mouths to show how weak they are. But they have the protection of others who theoretically have an obligation to punish them. Nothing that happened today is new in my life or in my friend's life." According to Planet Football on Thursday, among those defending Vinicius were some of football's most prominent figures. Kylian Mbappe said Cristiana repeatedly, called Vinicius a monkey and condemned the behavior as unacceptable and terrible for world football. Trent Alexander-Arnold praised Vinicius' mental strength, noting he has faced abuse before and handled it excellently. Alvaro Abelio stressed the importance of fighting racism in football and supporting players. Entertainment. Thames, Burna Boy, break record for most Billboard Hot 100 entries by African artists. Afrobeat singer Thames and Burna Boy have made history by becoming the African artist with the most Billboard US Hot 100 entries, surpassing South African group Theatre. This duo earned new entries on the chart with their features on J. Cole album. The Fallout, with Bounce Road Blues, featuring Thames and Future debuting at 34, and Only You with Burna Boy debuting at 78, bringing their total to 8 entries. Thames now has 3 Billboard Hot 100 entries this year, making her the African artist with the most entries this year. Recall that she also became the first African female artist to achieve 7 Billboard Hot 100 entries, tying Burna Boy and Tita. Burna Boy has also achieved a remarkable feat, becoming the first African artist to have a song on the Billboard Hot 100 for 6 consecutive years, with entries in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026. His entries over the years include Loved by You 2021, Last 2022, Sitting on Top of the World and Taliban's 2 2023, Just Like Me and We Pray 2024, WGFT 2025, and Only You 2026. Simi condemns sexual assault, urges men to hold peers accountable. Nigerian singer Simi has condemned sexual assault, calling on men to take greater responsibility in confronting the problem. In a post on X, the Afrobeat artist drew attention to the prevalence of sexual assault, stating that a significant number of women have experienced abuse. She criticized the culture of silence among men who overlook or excuse their friends' actions. Simi urged men to hold one another accountable and to stand in support of survivors, rather than dismissing allegations or prioritizing reality over justice. Recap of the major headlines. Electoral Act 2026. Tinubu defends assent. Opposition raises L. ICPC grills El-Rufai after EFCC release. FGC split youth mine after gas leak kills 37. FCT poll. 3,345 beavers deployed. Movement restricted. Jigawa, Lagos, Sokoto lead as INEC reports 1.2 million new voters registrations. Nigeria's World Bank IDA debt hits $18.7 billion. Sports. Football stars rally behind Vinicius. Condemn racism. Entertainment. Thames, Burna Boy. Break record for most Billboard Hot 100 entries by African artists. Semi condemns sexual assault. Urges men to hold peers accountable. Follow us on all our social media handles. Facebook at Ifako Radio, WhatsApp at Ifako Radio, X at Ifako Radio, YouTube at Ifako Radio, TikTok at Ifako Radio, Instagram at Ifako_Radio. For news reporting, contact us at ifakoradio@gmail.com or call or WhatsApp 091 2222 7433. Special thanks to the news producer Olanireti. I'm Olanireti Ololade. Stay tuned for our other programs. God bless Ifako.